Um, I mean, the part-time contract, like I've said, it's absolutely magic because when I've been going through this demanding time with my daughter, all that I do is I just schedule all of the meetings on one of my off days, and I don't get into that horrible working mum trap that I feel like I'm constantly failing and apologizing at work, and I'm constantly failing and apologizing at home. It lets me time block and just chill a little bit. Um, when I first joined, the other two engineers on my team who've changed now, they were actually contractors rather than employees. But I think they were part of the corporate culture, and they coached me quite hard on not popping up on my off days and on keeping really clear boundaries and not getting into that mindset where I felt the pressure to overwork. And they were almost quite forceful with me. Like if I'd pop up on my off days, they'd be like, and the way that they said it is that it was fairer to everybody if I kept my boundaries clear. And if I was if I was working 5 days a week on the sly, then it's almost like making it awkward for everyone else. And they told me that you have your 3-day contract. This is what it is. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to do extra. You don't need to you're just fine. And I think I needed that to be said to me, especially at the start, where the imposter syndrome flies high, and you are taking too long over everything because you're new, and it's very tempting to say, oh, I'll just flip up the laptop after the kids have gone to bed. But that actually wears at you, and that actually reduces your productivity as a coder. So it is mental work as a coder, and you do need your head in a certain state. And when you get very exhausted, it's not great because then you start making mistakes, or you don't see things as clearly as you should. Um, and so I can see how I could have had a danger of trying to be the superstar, but actually hit burnout. And I'm glad that someone actually sat me down and said, when you're at the end of your working day, just go, just rest, do your kids, whatever it is you want to do, and then come back the next day. The other thing is that there is zero drama about working from home. And when I say zero, I mean less than zero. I mean, there are people in the team that I basically never see face to face, and that's fine. So I had my first kid when I was 23, and right now, so that was she's 18 now. My eldest is 18. And back then, working from home was wild. You'd have like layers and layers of approvals to get even one day working from home, and it was very much a mum track thing. So you could see that the gentlemen would be getting on with things in their side chats around the meetings, and you'd be on the mum track just doing the grunt work that had no glory. And I mean, you don't wish for the pandemic, and the pandemic has made a lot of damaging changes, but it's also meant that it's normalized flexibility because everybody's had to be flexible. And you want to say the gender doesn't matter, but when men are routinely working from home, it stops being something that you do because you're a mum. It becomes just a different way of working, and you don't feel like you're going to be trapped in that. And I don't know if you have kids, but it just takes so much pressure off that when they wake up and they're running a fever, that then you say, I'll call in school, let me put a blanket on the sofa, and you know where the fridge is if you're hungry, and then you flip up your laptop and you carry on, and that's it. And when I was doing this with my first kid, I mean, I remember when she got chicken pox, she was sent home from school with chicken pox, and I was like, driving down breakneck speed to my mum's house, and mum, can you look after her, because I just can't take this much time off school, and with chicken pox you can't get any even emergency childcare. And boss, I'm going to drive as fast as I can, and I'll go take this day leave, and I'll try. And it was just, you do it, but it takes a penalty. And so we start out awesome, and we have like this much awesome, and if we spend this much of the awesome just getting our freaking selves in front of a laptop because we've got this just sudden unexpected barrier that there's a child that needs care, for example, then even if we started here, we've actually only got this left. And again, I wish it didn't exist. I wish I could say I'm bringing my whole self always, and I've always got 100% of myself to give. But we are limited resources, and the more energy we're spending on just making the very basic fundamentals of our life work, it does take a penalty on what's left. And the fact of there being zero drama about working from home means that's gone. If my kid is sick, if my kid is going to have like some kind of need to be dropped off at some crazy part of town at 5:30 p.m. for like this specialist thing that they've ever done that they really, mom, I really have to do. It's just no drama. It's fine. I do my work. Like I can structure my work how I need to. And so and like I said, technology is fundamentally flexible. So for everybody's communication and sanity collaboration, obviously I keep to office hours. But actually the sky doesn't fall in if I go to sports day between 2 and 3 p.m. and then work an extra hour at the end of the day. I mean, it doesn't even really need to be negotiated.